Welcome back to Inside Politics. Our guest today, Metro Councilman Freddie O'Connell from the downtown area, and the city's official historian, Dr. Carole Bucy. We're talking about what's happened down on 2nd Avenue and what the future might be. Freddie, before we broke, we were talking a little bit about what an extraordinary community Nashville is to be giving the kind of help to what's happened down there, much like we've done with the floods and the tornadoes. I think you've been particularly touched by it because it's in your district.
Sure. And Pat, let me also give some credit and gratitude to NewsChannel 5. You all were quick out of the gates, partnering with the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee to set up a fund here. One of the things I've been very excited about is I've worked with the district for a long time, and you're probably very familiar with this. It's a nonprofit organization. To Carole's point, we have historic Nashville, obviously, as kind of a hub for preservation in the city as a whole, but the district really focuses on those historic areas in downtown in particular, including Broadway and 2nd Avenue. And they've created this whole initiative called 2nd Avenue Strong. I'd encourage your viewers to check out 2nd Avenue or 2ndavstrong.org. They've got some great things going on. You're probably aware of this too. They've got a live stream benefit concert next week, March 26th, 7 to 9 p.m. You can find out more at the website. But the district has also partnered with the Metro Historical Commission Foundation to set up a fund that benefit is going to support. But people have also been donating, just like to the fund you all created with the Community Foundation. And their fund is specific to the restoration process, right? Because, as we started this segment, Carole has taken us, and you have as well, on kind of a historic tour of 2nd Avenue. But that instinct to keep as much of that kind of river brick, the architecture there, the character that people enjoyed, for decades along 2nd Avenue through its many incarnations. We're trying to get as much of that propelled into the future as we can. And so I definitely have been excited to watch this 2nd Avenue Strong initiative take hold. And I do encourage folks, if anybody who's got the wherewithal to support this, who wants to see 2nd Avenue preserved and kind of emerge even stronger going into the future, check that out. It's just 2ndavstrong.org.
Hey, Carole, go ahead.
Excuse me, Pat. I think Nashville's really lucky that so many of the people that you could call celebrities are so willing to step up and do concerts and provide ways for the fund to grow by giving of themselves. And you don't necessarily see that with a lot of big name people who live in other places. So we're fortunate to have that music industry and all of the talent it has produced, which has really stepped up to help a lot of causes here.
Carole, in 1985, there was an earlier calamity on 2nd Avenue when there was a fire that destroyed an entire block of buildings between roughly Bank Street and Church Street down there on the riverside of 2nd Avenue. At that time, Carole, there was some concern that the city might lose its designation down there for being historic on 2nd Avenue because it sort of got rid of the continuous row of Victorian architecture down there. Is that a concern again after what happened with the bombing? Because it's even more extensive throughout the upper part of the street.
I think that's a concern that we've got to pretty much redo what was down there, at least the facades, because we are in danger of losing all of the historic fabric that's left down there. And that's some of the very, very oldest part of our city. And you could go through the history of 2nd Avenue, and it basically is the history of Nashville.
So, Freddie, are we going to have to be creative in figuring out how we restore or rebuild that part of 2nd Avenue? And the mayor says we're going to build it back even better. When you hear that, what do you think that means?
I'm really optimistic. I've been in several meetings with the mayor's office, and they have engaged the Metro Planning Department along with the Civic Design Center, whose headquarters were right there in Butler's Run. And as an organization, they were viscerally impacted by this. And they're going through a listening session that I think is going to spill into some answers to that question. I think for me, I think about it and I think, all right, well, we've known for a while we've needed some just basic infrastructure improvements, from lighting to beautification to making sure sidewalks are maintained. There's been this question of water capacity in that area. But there's also this, we're one block from the riverfront. First Avenue has not in my lifetime ever really beyond Fort Nashboro and to an extent Riverfront Park, but it's never really invited people there. I remember the first job I ever had was working for the old Great Escape, and they actually opened a store that had a front on First Avenue, and it was interesting to see the hint of commerce that could be facing First Avenue. There's also this really interesting network of alleys that kind of connect up that bring you to Second Avenue. There's so many different ways to explore that whole area that is anchored around Second Avenue. And my hope is that if we build back better, we give visitors and residents alike more interesting opportunities to explore that section of downtown and the riverfront.
Freddie, very quickly, when you talk to the property owners, you get the feeling most of them want to rebuild and do something, not just going to cash out with the insurance and move on. I mean, I know the city's going to $500,000 of the new federal incentive money that's coming down for COVID relief is going to be there. So do they feel like they're going to stay there and do it, or maybe not?
I think you're going to see a mix, Pat. The Ryman, obviously, they have a huge investment in the Wild Horse Saloon. They're participating in this benefit concert. I think they are among the folks that are there to stay. You know, Mike at Mike's Ice Cream, he's already back open. A lot of these places really want to be open. I think for some of the businesses that don't own their properties, Old Spaghetti Factory, they were surprised, though, to see that their landlord canceled their lease. I mean,
Freddie O'Connell, thank you so much. We're going to have to leave it at that. And Carole Bucy, thank you so much for bringing all your insights about the history of Metro. We appreciate both of you being on the program today.
Great. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
That's Inside Politics for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you'll be back here again for a future show. If you can't get enough politics in the meantime, go to NewsChannel website. You'll find my Capital News commentary there. There's new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you here next time. Goodbye.